Hey, everyone. Welcome to On Purpose Media's and Thaddeus Tondu's 2025 Marketing Plan webinar. We're going to do a deep dive for you into some of the things you want to consider when looking at your marketing plan. I know that we say 45 minutes on here. I'm going to try to keep it to 30 for you guys and go as quick as I possibly can in some of these things. Don't worry, after we'll get you a copy of the replay so you can go through and you can deep dive. Plus, we've got some worksheets for you guys to do some of your homework yourselves. I'm looking forward to helping you guys out in transitioning and getting ready for a great 2025. There's some interesting things coming up down the pipe we'll talk about near the end of it. Stuff to do with AI, which is also super fascinating stuff. Well, let's dive in without further ado and let's rock and roll to your 2025 marketing plan for you guys. All right. So here's some agenda. So we'll talk about a couple things. These might not actually be in order of how we're going to go through it, but we do have an internet marketing checklist that we're going to give you access to after the webinar, so you can take a look at that. We're going to obviously talking about goals for 2025, working through some of those, but more importantly, we're going to break down those goals. Something that I'm really excited to show you. I know last year when we ran this webinar, we didn't have this data broken out, but I've actually created it where you can enter in your conversion rate, what your average tickets are, and it calculates a few different neat things for you. You can play around with the values to see what it would change in your business for you. I'm really excited for that, to be able to go through the goals. We're going to talk about your KPIs to know that you're on track and measuring those. And of course, we're going to wrap up with some trends, because it wouldn't be marketing without some trends that are happening. Somebody told me once that 1 year in a digital marketing agency's life cycle is like 7 years in a regular business. I mean, just think about what's changed in the last year with AI and ChatGPT, for example. So we'll dive into a lot of those things, but some ground rules. Obviously, be present during this. And now, if you're an HVAC, plumbing, electrical business owner, or any business owner for that matter, and you're serious about getting better results in 2025, these next, 30 to 45 minutes could change your business and your life for the better if you pay attention to some of these things. So, who am I? Why am I here giving you this webinar? Well, most of you have came through some form of an email that we sent out to you guys. Some of you came and clicked on an ad that you saw on Facebook. Now we're here, we're talking about it. Well, I have been in the marketing space for a decade, over 10 years with it. I've been a business owner myself for the last 5 years. Technically, in my previous job, they told me I was a business owner. It's kind of like a franchisee, independent contractor thing, not quite legitimately real, but a business owner for the last 5 years. But I've also been in sales, in and around business, working in leadership roles, sales roles, etc., for close to 20 years. When I think about it, probably even longer. I had a paper route when I was 10 years old. And it's funny because when I had my paper route, what I ended up doing was I paid the neighbor kid in the summertime to deliver the papers, and then I made margin on top of that. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna take the summer off. I'm gonna make some money, and he's gonna deliver my papers. Until my mom's like, well, you got to pay him a little bit more. I'm like, well, there goes my margins. So I stopped doing that and went back to delivering the papers, which is kind of funny. So I've been around the block a few times. I've got a lot of experience in terms of going through this, in terms of planning a budget. Now, by the way, if you're like, I've never set a budget in my entire life, it's okay, because guess what? We didn't have a budget in our business On Purpose Media until last year. So we operated for 3 years before we even set up a budget. We've been in business for, well, I guess 4 years. Been in business for 5 years. And so anyways, it's okay, right? We got to start somewhere and know that that's part of it. So that's part of my journey. Obviously, I've got a passion for helping businesses. One of my other passions is actually helping businesses create a successful work culture. And we'll talk a little bit about that here as we go forward. So this is, by the way, what I do, right? We are a purpose-driven digital marketing for HVAC, plumbing, and electrical businesses, and we deliver results, not just clicks. And so keeping that in mind as you go through this, that we are going and talking specifically in the marketing side of things. And I'm not going to do a deep dive on the budget on your operations, because guess what? I don't get involved in the operations of HVAC, plumbing, and electrical businesses. You should know some of those yourself, and there's great resources out there. I'm here to talk specifically about the marketing. So what's the hardest part about marketing a business online? Well, lots. By the way, if you're in the chat, you can drop those in the comments on what you think is the hardest part about marketing your HVAC business online. Don't leave me feeling like I'm all alone here in this digital world. I see you guys on there. I see that there's people there. What do you think is the hardest part about marketing your business, or plumbing business, or electrical business online? Make sure you put those in there. But I'm going to tell you my opinion on what I think the hardest part about marketing a business online is. There's so many options. right? And you don't really know where or with who to spend your money. What do you do? I mean, look at this graph, for example. I mean, when you think about this, there's so many different ways. You can do SEO, you can do search engine optimization, you can do PPC and Google Ads, you can do retargeting, you could do paid directories, you can do repeat and referrals. There's pay per lead sources like Home Advisor, Angie. There's social media advertising on Facebook and TikTok, as long as it's still around in North America. There's referrals. There's so many different moving pieces that go involved into it. And that's just, by the way, um, a tip of the spear, right? All right, then we got some couple comments rolling in. Getting your customers to know about your company, right? That's a big one. How do you get them to know about you? What do you need to do, right? Being individual, everyone the same concepts. The when I look at those two, I mean, getting to know about your company. I mean, that in a large part is branding. Okay, when you look at how can you transition from both online and offline to be able to make sure that there's things out there. You think about the online dynamic. 3% of people on average know they have a problem. They're actively searching for a solution and they want to buy it now. And so if you had pulled 100 people in a room, if you're talking heating and cooling, or if you're talking plumbing and a hot water tank, if you're talking electrical and their panel upgrades, is when you look at that 3%, they're ready to go now. That's where you want to be on Google. That's where you want to be on Google Ads. Okay, 17% of people, they know that they have a problem and they're actively seeking a solution to their problem. They're in information gathering mode. Again, same thing. That's Google. At other forms, you can look at Bing, Perplexity, search. ChatGPT is going to be the big one, and people using AI search for their information gathering part of things. Another 20% of people know they have a problem and they're not even really looking for a solution. They just know that at some point in time in the next little bit, they're going to have to get their furnace replaced. They're going to have to get their air conditioner done. They're going to have to replace their hot water tank. They're going to have to upgrade some of the things that are electrical. Maybe they're looking at those the lights that go around the houses, the glowstone lights. So many different things. They just aren't actively searching it. The other 60% don't know they have a problem and they don't know that there's a solution out there. And so when you look at branding, that's where that 60 to 80% is going to be spent. And so you shouldn't put all of your money online. You shouldn't put all of your money in digital, and you can, or in traditional. You can kind of blend it. We'll talk a little bit about some of those things. Being individual, everyone with the same concepts. That's a great one too. I really like this one here from Carmen, being individual, everyone with the same concepts. Like, how do you stand out? How do you segregate that out and be able to do what you need to do? And that, again, I think that circles back to the brand, such an integral part. Dan Antonelli would be a man after my heart right now because of what we're talking about here and saying the branding part of things. The other thing is, how can you differentiate yourself? If everybody's doing a $77 tune-up or an $87 tune-up or a $97 tune-up, or they're saying financing for as low as $47 a month. By the way, that 7 number ending in 7, key thing, because that actually helps conversion rates. But how do you stand out if everybody's doing the same thing? Well, think differently. Okay. The very end on the worksheet, there's a couple different things that I have for you guys to be able to work through some of those on your own. I mean, you can also use AI for that. I mean, where to spend the budget. Yeah, that's a great one. We're going to talk about that. Finding time to do it. Well, Mike, you just hired us. So now you're going to have your time back because we're going to crush it for you. Okay. Branding is a big one, right? We've been talking about that. So now, obviously, this one, taking advantage of every opportunity and having a proper system in place to make sure we book the call. Another important part too, right? Again, that's the operational thing. I'll talk a little bit about that. So let's carry on. So the big thing, I think, actually stems from, why do you do what you do? And why do you do what you do? What is the why? What is the driving force? And I'm going to assume most majority of individuals are business owners on this call. If not, you're part of a business that you're driving it forward. If you're part of the business, if you're a team member, do you know why the business exists? Why do you do what you do? And here's a spoiler alert. It's not just replacing air conditioners or fixing them, or replacing furnaces and fixing them. It's not just replacing hot water tanks and fixing drain clogs and plumbing leaks. It's not just worrying about, electrical panel upgrades and everything that goes on involved with all of those trades. It's bigger than that. Why do you do what you do? Some people might have saw the other day, I posted a new profile photo of mine, or cover photo on Facebook. It's my family, right? That's me. That's why I do what I do. But when I look at a bigger vision and a bigger purpose, when our organization and on-purpose media, I'll tell you this and I'll move on. When we hit our big hair audacious goal at the end of 2020, and I've ran some math in looking at how we directly and indirectly impact people. And I say directly and indirectly because there's the direct impact of my team members. We have 15 people in-house right now, 16 actually, in-house in our organization. When we hit our big, hairy, audacious goal, it'll be 37 people inside of our organization, okay? Now they have significant others and kids and families and lives, okay? Now I look at our clients, and if our clients, let's say, have an average of 10 people working in their business, you times that total amount of people by the average number of people in a household of 2.2, weird number, I know, it comes close to almost 4,000 families that are directly and indirectly impacted by the work that we do at On Purpose Media. That's what lights us up. That's what fills us up. By the way, our team knows that. Does your team know what you do? Big thing. All right. Get your copy of the worksheet. Head on over to onpurposemedia.ca/2025. I'm going to put this on here and we will queue up our marketing plan worksheet. This is more of a workshop style for you guys to be able to jump on over to that. So once you guys get over there, I'm going to hide that guy and I am going to add this one over here. Here's the marketing plan worksheet that we're going to go through. I'm going to talk about some of this, and there's going to be homework, by the way, from this. I know I hate homework too. My 3-year-old got homework when you first started preschool. I'm like, homework? The kid's 3. They was just drawing. But this one's actually legitimate homework because there's just not enough time for me to go through in great detail with everybody as you go through this, okay? So again, make sure we watch the replay, work through a lot of these on your own because some of these are going to be a little bit deeper of a dive. You might need other team members involved in to be able to grab the information for you. All right. Hey, that's me. Look at that photo. I like that. Can I match it? What do you think? Did I do a good enough job on matching? No smile on that one either, so no teeth. All right, our objectives. So goal setting for 2025, the number that you want to hit and how to find them. We've got 3 fundamentals of marketing success as well that we'll talk a little bit about. How to optimize your website for conversions, big picture. We've already talked a lot about that, latest trends. So talked about that guy. All right, so why are you doing what you're doing? We've also talked about that. Write this down. Oh, yes. On Purpose Media /2025. Let me just do that. I'll run that ticker across the bottom for you there. So you have that onpurposemedia.ca /2025 to get the copy of the worksheet. All right. Let me pull this window back up here. Bam. All right. Key thing, make it bigger than yourself. Hint, money's on why. So I've already talked about that. Now, here's what you're going to want to do is, thank you, Ron, for dropping that as well. The reason I am doing what I'm doing is, and you want to write that down. This could take a little bit longer. I, by the way, have a message that I delivered at Business Uncensored a month ago. The link is, by the way, further down in here of creating a successful culture. It talks a little bit about the why and the vision and the culture and goes into greater detail on how to do that. So here's what we want to work through in terms of creating your plan. Okay. So your current total yearly revenue, you want to write that down and put that in there. It could be $1 million, could be 2, could be 5, could be 10, whatever your current total yearly revenue is, or even what you're thinking you're going to end 2024 with. Okay. So now you have your starting point of where you're at in your business. Now, here's another one is, you just take your total revenue and you usually just divide that by 12 to get your current average monthly revenue. Now, here's the thing. When we get into the worksheet, you're going to see ebbs and flows, right? We know that businesses are cyclical. We know that if you're a heating and cooling company in the South, well, you're going to be really busy in the summer, not so much in the winter. If you're here in Canada, you're going to be busy in the summer, busy in the winter, but not so much in the shoulder seasons. And understanding the nuances of your market to know that sometimes you're going to have a down revenue, sometimes you're going to have big revenue. But here's the other one I want you to write down is your typical number of jobs run per month. Okay. I want you to go and find that information again. When you watch the replay, you can pause, you can find that. Okay. Now we're going to move into your 2025 revenue target, saying, okay, great. Now I've got my 2024. Here's where I believe I want to hit in my business in 2025. By the way, this is your number. Not everybody needs or wants to have a massive growth. Not everybody wants to be running a $10 million per year business. Some people are completely fine running a $2 million per year business or $1 million per year business or a $3 million per year business. You need to know what your why is and run that backwards to where you want to be in your business. Okay. Again, I'm going to say that again because it's important. You need to know what your why is and run that backwards to know what you want to be, where you want to be in your business. You don't have to be the big business that everybody puts online. I'm going to tell you that right now. So do what makes you happy and fills you up and fills your cup up, right? That's your 2025 revenue target. So Other key metrics that you're going to want to find, you're going to want to find your call center booking rate or your CSR booking rate, whatever it is. If you get 100 calls into your business, how many of those do you book? By the way, industry average is like 45%. Do you book higher than that? 90%? I know some companies that do. Some people book lower than that, by the way. I'll show you why this is key later. You want to find your cancellation rate of booked appointments. So if you book 100 appointments on the board, do you complete 90 of them? 10 of them cancel, so 10%? Understanding that number. You want to know your tech turnover rate on repair calls and demand calls. And so finding those aspects of things out and saying, okay, if I am here on an AC repair, furnace repair, a leaking faucet, whatever, what's your tech turnover rate? Do you know what they're turning over? Now, if you have selling technicians, a little bit different of a conversation. I think an ultimate selling technician is kind of a unicorn, in my opinion. You can have them, but they're tough. So finding out your tech turnover rate, you want to find your closing percentage on those tech turnovers. So if you have 10 repair calls that you've ran, they turn over 6 of those. How many of those 6 turn into sales? 3 of them? Great, 50% closing rate. You want to find your average ticket on installs. You're going to want to find your average ticket on service calls. Keep those separate, by the way. So on installs, on the service calls, I'll show you why. You're going to want to, again, average ticket looks like it's on here twice. And then I'm also curious to know, when you have this, your percentage of revenue, as it relates to service in your business and into installs in your business. Installs can also be replacements. I use those words interchangeably depending on you and where you're at in your business. Okay. So using those words interchangeably. We're going to circle back to these numbers later. So you're just going to hold on to those for now. By the way, if you do not have those off the top of your head, and if you're looking for those right now, that's okay. Again, we're going to have a replay of this so you can actually go back and work through the exercise on the sheet. They're going to matter when I get up into this 2025 marketing plan worksheet. Okay. I'm not going to talk much about your ideal customer, by the way. Okay. I'm just going to give this here for you. If you don't know who you want to work with for your ideal customer, this is a good exercise for you to go through, because now this can match your branding and the language and what you're trying to speak and what you're trying to attract. Some people like anybody that has an air conditioner, anybody that has running water, anybody that turns their lights on. Okay, great. That's your ideal customer. There's some places where people will want to work in the higher net worth homes, the bigger homes. There's some people that actually don't want to work in those areas. They want to work in some of the areas where it might be considered a poor area. But here's the thing: is those people have generally never moved, and they actually own their homes outright, and they actually have disposable income. Not a lot of people understand that part. So again, knowing your ideal customer, where you get that. You can also, by the way, run this backwards in your CRM or your FSM, your field service management software, to say, okay, maybe let's do a plot. Let's take 100 of our random clients and put a plot on based on zip and postal code to see where they actually funnel out at. Maybe it's just completely spread out. Maybe you're going to see that there's a section of this. This matters, by the way, when you look at your Google Ads and your PPC and how to be able to dial in to a specific area of people that are your best customers for you. Okay. So you're going to read out the demographics. You're going to want to list out their pains and frustrations. You're going to want to list out their fears and limitations. You're going to want to write out their goals and desires. List them out. Take a deep dive. Take time to do this with your team as well. The people that are in the field are going to have a lot of information here for you on that. Okay. Now, when you have that, you can actually write down your messaging. Okay, so why should someone choose to do business with you versus the competition? This helps out, by the way, with being individual. Everyone the same concepts. We always answer our phone. We're speedy to repairs. I think of a company here in Calgary, actually, Action Furnace, fixed right here, it's free guarantee. Like that's literally their branding message on, like, it's on their bus benches of Action Furnace, fixed right here, it's free. That's a pretty big value proposition that they have. And they put that out there because it separates them out. Now, nobody else can really offer that same thing because they've essentially cornered. Maybe they've trademarked it. I don't really know. Either way, why would somebody choose to do business with you? Important piece. Hey, what benefits do you offer that your target customer avatar will resonate with, in finding those different messagings out? And have that. Oh, it is it is trademarked. There you go. So fixed right, it's free guarantee. Good. I figured that was going to be trademarked. So and now lastly, okay, when you have your customers and you have your plan, you're going to want to list out your core values. Okay. So what's your culture like? By the way, when you have a strong culture in your business, all of the rest of the stuff so far becomes way easier. By the way, when you have a good culture and you have people match into your core values, guess what? They actually want to rally behind your goals and help you hit them It's fascinating. Okay. Bonus is watch that talk. Okay. You'll be able to click the link and watch. I think it was about 45 minutes long from when I was down in Business Uncensored. So take a look at it. All right. So let's talk about building into your budget. So you want to head over to the budget building sheet. You're going to want to click here. There's no fancy URL like before. Did not forward it. It's in this onpurposemedia.ca/2025 plan. And then you're going to pop open this guy. Okay. So this is the budget planning sheet. How do I get rid of some of this to make it bigger for you guys? There we go. So in this, or it's going to be customized to you guys. A couple ground rules on this sheet. So you're going to want to make a copy of the sheet to edit it for yourself. Okay. And then anything in pink here has a formula, right? So don't edit those cells. I didn't lock this in case you want to play around and change this and do whatever you want with it. But this is the sheet that I think has a lot of power and pop for you guys and what you do. Hey, I've ran some pretend numbers in here. Again, these are customizable to you and what you want to hit in your business. So if you're going to pace 2024 for 2 million, you're going to do 2.5 million, put in your numbers. I mean, you can change it to 3 million, let's say, and you want to hit, I mean, that's negative. Nobody really wants to go negative. Maybe it's 3.5 million. So your monthly revenue target, again, all it is taking this number, dividing it by 12, right? That's it. Taking 3.5 million, dividing it by 12 gives you a projected growth rate of where your organization wants to slot in for a growth perspective. Okay. I'm going to show you how we've calculated this blended average ticket and how many service calls you need. Plus, it'll also back calculate your monthly budget required to hit the target if you're focusing solely on new business and new business only, ignoring some of the repeat, although sometimes repeats does have a cost per lead in there. It'll also calculate an average booked call cost for you. Okay? Those are some of the things that are going to be done automatically. So you can look at your cost per lead. If you see this little black corner up here, there are some benchmarks, right? These are just random various benchmarks. There's going to be nuance to your area and to your business. So understanding what is your average cost per lead or even average cost per qualified lead. But looking at that in average cost per lead, I've just put 75 in here to keep it simple. It could be 100, 150 in some areas. It could be 25 to 30 in some areas in different industries and et cetera. And so understanding those numbers will be a key thing for you to be able to figure out how to be able to reverse engineer these goals. All right. Now that we have this information, because again, this is the stuff that we did earlier, right? If you think back to that marketing plan worksheet, we're actually going to come in here. We're going to populate these numbers into here. Okay, so if we look at your average conversion rate from a caller lead to book job. So honestly, it's just a great idea to know this as a whole. And for each marketing platform you're using too, but I'm just going to blend it all together into one. So I'm going to actually go with the industry averages of 45%, a conversion rate. Okay. It'll actually now calculate how many opportunity service call leads you need. And again, I'm focusing on mainly service call here and ignoring straight installs. Again, so there's some things here that I've purposely omitted just to kind of highlight the importance of your operational efficiencies here. Okay, this is the part of what I'm trying to get at is the operational efficiencies. No matter how good of a marketing company you have, On Purpose Media is really good. No matter how good of a marketing company you have, if your operational efficiencies aren't dialed in, it's going to cost you significantly a lot more money. So 45%, let's just play with 10% down here. If your tech turnover on service call opportunities, by the way, this is just anecdotal of 20% of what I've heard in many conversations from people being at 20% turnover rate. And if their closing rates are around 30% of those, okay, now you can put in your average sale on tech leads, 10,000 for an install. Your average sale on service calls, 500. Not unheard of numbers, pretty standard to some of the things that I've heard from a lot of people. Now, you would obviously have your numbers that you'd want to enter in here. I'm going to leave those as is. So here's the fascinating part. If you were to spend money on strictly new business on marketing in order to be able to hit $3.5 million at a $75 cost per lead with those numbers, you would need to spend $43,000 per month. That's a big number. Okay. If you want to know what that is in percentage terms, that actually works out. Oh, there's no math on that one. So never mind. I deleted that. So I'm just going to quick math this for you because now I'm actually genuinely curious on what that math is. So we have 43,420 times 12 divided by 3.5 million is 15% on marketing. Okay? If again, you were just solely focused on new business generation, here's where operational efficiencies come into play. Okay, let's say you get this up to 75%. I mean, I know companies that are batting 90%, by the way, but we'll just do 75%. Okay. If you can reduce the cancellation rate of your calls down to 5%, okay, because you have something like Chirp, automating messages when people are on the way, showing value, adding those things in. I mean, Tommy Mello had a post the other day about his mom. When his mom was booking calls and handling calls, she would talk all about Tommy and how awesome he is. He actually, the cancellation rate went down and his closing rate went up, just by way of giving information. Okay. Now, if you can bump your tech turnover on service calls to 50%, let's say, you know what, even go 40%, let's just double it. Okay. And you get your sales team closing half those leads. Your numbers still stay the same. Look what that does to your marketing budget. That drops it by like $30,000 just by getting away. Again, this is the highlight of what I wanted to show you, is that operational efficiencies are going to be absolutely key and paramount in order to be able to hit your marketing goals and your budgets and what you need to do. You can't ignore that part of things. At the end of the day, the marketing company's job is done the second they send you a lead. Now, they should be good leads, et cetera. You think about that. The marketing company's job is done the second they send you a lead. Now it is up to you to be able to convert that lead. Now, if you get even better, now if you crush it, let's see, 90%, you still have 5%, right? You do tech turnover rate on service calls. By the way, I know companies hitting these numbers, okay, and they're closing about 60% of those. Okay, their average sale is a little higher, and I believe this is about there. Okay, roughly speaking. So if I come up here now, look what that does. That drops it down to like 5,200, right? Just by way of efficiencies inside of the business. Now, if your cost per lead is a little bit higher, okay, now your marketing spend goes up, and so you can play with these numbers a little bit based on where you're at to actually see where it's costing you money. That's the key part of this, and where it's costing you money. So, everybody with me so far? Does anybody have any questions so far on the sheet? If you do, the chat feature, drop as many comments and questions as you need. We can go over those as needed as we continue to go through this worksheet. Okay, how am I doing for time? All right. So when you have this, your monthly percentages, it'll kind of kick this down for you. So your last year's numbers, and then it just basically takes these aspect of things in running it in terms of your percentage of your year. So you can actually put in your call numbers, and this will kind of give you a little bit of your general seasonality and fluctuations on when you're going to want to spend more and when you're going to need to spend less, and shift your budget around a little bit. My opinion is that when it's your busy season, you should be spending more in digital. When it's your slower season, you should be spending a little bit more on branding. So, um, great. Do you have any insights into how or what helps improve those closing rates? Great question. Sales training resources, sales training guides, making sure that individuals are on the up and up from a sales perspective, increasing efficiency on your part. Honestly, I would probably look into best practice groups or hiring a coaching organization into your business. Many best practice groups out there. Find one that fits for you. I know some folks like Service Nation. Some people like Service, the other, not Service Roundtable, Nexstar, CEO Warrior. I'm part and partial to Grow with Clover. I like their Catapult program for a lot of individuals. Depending on the size of your business and where you're at, that's going to be your biggest thing, because now they work through a lot of those things. You know, something like CXC and what Brianna Skivington has over there is also a great option for on the call, real live, like sales training and information and gathering that data real time on how to sell better. But if you're looking at the totality of, okay, how do I impact all of these different pieces? I would say find your numbers and choose one to focus on first and foremost on what's going to be the biggest opportunity for you. Okay. I would probably say the biggest one, in my opinion, is making sure that this one here is dialed in and as high as you possibly can. So, yeah, right. In better financial options, sales training, right? I'm a big believer that you should be showing monthly pricing, not upfront costs. You think about 50 to 60% of the North American population is not, it's like 2 weeks away from not being able to pay their bills. They're living paycheck to paycheck, or they wouldn't be able to afford like a one-time fee of like $1,000 or $2,000, something that hit them, right? And so monthly options are a good choice for people to be able to show that. But again, I would focus on this guy right here, because the more at bats you're going to get, the more you can work through the sales process in order to be able to get better and increase those numbers. Okay, so that would probably be step number one. There's lots of AI softwares out there that can answer the phone for you. I'm caution a little bit. I'm kind of stealing a little bit from like the future stuff here. I always caution a little bit on going all to AI. It should be definitely used as an overflow option, in my opinion, for if you can't actually answer the call right then and there. Okay. If you can answer the call, perfect. That's the best way, having a human on the phone. It's good for overflow and it's good for after hours. If you do emergency work after hours, it's good to be able to gather that information and kind of source it a little bit to see, hey, is this legitimately an emergency? Should I send this through to my on-call person, or can it wait till the next day? So they can kind of triage that, and you can get the call back a little bit later, but they're answering the phone. Here's the other thing that is, if you're running Google local service ads, it increases your speed to lead response time. It actually helps your local service ads when you actually answer the phone. So again, that's would be my opinion on where to start first. And then the other stuff is great to work on once you get more at bats. Okay. So that's the monthly percentages. You can obviously drop down your revenue generated. That's that exercise from earlier. You can go through month by month, and it kind of shows you your seasonality and your fluctuations for it. This is obviously an older version. When I was 1.5 WID, and I didn't change these numbers. It's just here for your informational purposes themselves. So where do you spend the money? All right. So if we're looking at a $3.5 million business and you want to spend 8%, by the way, these are kind of the numbers that we look at, 4 to 6%. This is kind of industry specific, but also the Small Business Association, the SBA, recommends anywhere from 4 to 15%, depending on the industry, right? So 4 to 6%, maintain or minimal growth, 6 to 8% for solid growth, 8 to 12% for max growth, or you need a stronger brand. Really, that's the other part. If you're not seeing a lot of the growth and you're spending 8, 10, 12, 15% in your marketing, you need to get a better brand. There's just no way around that, right? The most expensive brand is the one you don't do right the first time. Okay. So if you look at this, this number is taking your average monthly budget based on your budget percentage, okay, of 8% of your goal. Okay. I threw this number in here. This is auto-populated from this lead generation target. So again, if you change this number, I can go to 10%. It changes what your budget would be. If you want to go to 5%, it changes what your budget would be. Okay. I just put this in here for informational purposes only. So now you can play around with this and say, okay, well, I want to allocate it to online marketing, allocate it offline marketing, allocate it to repeat business. And you change those percentages, right? This is the primary source for marketed leads for most businesses. This means, in my opinion, it should be the largest of the three in terms of percentage. Okay. When you look at this is things like radio, TV, direct mail, and billboards. They're brand building and commit to doing them long term. Radio, 12 months minimum. TV, 12 months minimum. Direct mail, they say 7 to 9 touches and times that somebody needs to see something, probably even more in today's day and age. So people do, well, I did one direct mail blast and it didn't work. Well, yeah, because direct mail conversion rates are usually 1% or less. Radio is all about a branding play. There's no direct call to action and return on investment necessarily from radio. Now, you can find ways in your Google Analytics to be able to see, okay, is there an increase in my search terms for my company name in and of itself? But those are long term. I would say that if you're a smaller business, I probably wouldn't look to spend a ton on radio, TV, or billboards just yet. Okay. Again, that's subjective to you, but we can look at this, by the way. So I'm going to do 20. I think you have to math this out in order to be able to do that. So that's 90. So this could be 75%, right? 75, 20, and 5. You can play with these. It shows you what your online marketing budget would be, your offline marketing budget, and then your repeat business. Caveat on online marketing, okay, is that there's SEO, right? The Google ads can go up and down depending on what you're needing to hit for that particular month. SEO is your static one, and make sure you're factoring this into your total number on what you're going to be looking to spend. And then anything additional can go to things like Google Ads or Facebook or Angie's or Thumbtack or Home Advisor or Yelp. Yes, I said Yelp. Those that are in the left coast, I mean West Coast, need to spend money on Yelp. It's part of it. We actually have businesses that are actually crushing it on Yelp, specifically California. If you're not on Yelp in California, you should be looking at it. If you're unsure, then let's reach out, have a conversation. By the way, if you ever want at any point in time, you can text me 719-824-1377. If you don't want to ask your questions live, that's cool. Text me at that number anytime, and we'll get back to you and answer your questions here for you on anything that you have coming up in by way of this. All right. This then auto-populates kind of what your online marketing budget would look like. It actually takes everything from these monthly percentages and dictates and shows you roughly where you should be at. Again, this is great for informational purposes. Obviously, TBV or Trust But Verify this to make sure this is right for your business. But now we're seeing, okay, in my seasonalities, I'm going to be able to increase my online. You might even be able to look at this and say, okay, well, It's recommended me to be in around here and increasing a little bit in the summer. But I know that Thad said earlier that I should probably spend a little bit more of my busy time and less on online and less on my offline. So you can massage and move those as you need to be able to hit your goals. Okay. This again, information will get you guys thinking about what's going to be needed inside your business. Now here's your online marketing allocation. Okay. So if you come down to this, you would be looking at it's just a times formula. So if you're going to say, let's just say the average, I mean, call it 3,000 per month. I'm going to pull a number, sometimes less, sometimes more for SEO. So that should be 36,000. So maybe you can actually goal seek things, but I'm not going to worry about goal seek. Roughly 28%. That means of the leftover, your paid ads, LSA, Facebook, wherever you want, you have $81,000 to spend. Okay. Your display and retargeting, if you want to do display ads and retargeting, could be 10%. You could drop it here. Or you could just go like this and say, screw it. Let's just not worry about display and retargeting right now. Let's just go straight to paid ads, LSA, Facebook, Google, etc. Now you've got 94,500 to be able to spend in a year. Okay. Based off of your marketing budget allocation, which was done up here. And you guys with me so far? Anybody have any questions on this at all at the current moment? Cool. If you're watching this on replay, if you do have questions, again, text me on that number, 719-824-1377. Help be more than willing to help you out. And that will show you down here a little bit better of a breakdown for your paid ads and your SEO and kind of what you're looking to spend roughly on a month-by-month basis along with here. And so now you can see this influx. It increases on your paid ads to be able to hit that time of the year for it. I believe, in my opinion, that paid ads and PPC and Facebook should, PPC specifically, fill anywhere from 5 to 30% of your schedule. It shouldn't be everything. It shouldn't be everything, but sometimes people don't rely on that. All right, that's the budget allocations. So a couple extra bonus goodies for you. The marketing calendar. We put this in here just as an example for you guys to take. Obviously, we're focusing on heating and cooling. From there, some social, some SEO, some display stuff that you might be able to work with. We've got some special offers that we've seen work for others in the industry and in the space. So again, you can feel free to take these and use these. These might be the same as other people are running. So you want to take these and ideate off of them and go from there. So that's kind of the budgeted planning worksheet in and of itself. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming up next. So what else can you do? So download the copy of the Internet Marketing Checklist onpurposemedia.ca/checklist. Grab your copy of that guy. It'll help you walk through some of your internet marketing things, stuff that you can do on your own or stuff that you can take to your current marketing company to say, hey, have you guys thought about this? Are you guys working on this? And educate yourself. It's actually a really good document to be able to work through the educational components of things. If you're unsure on what actually goes into all of the marketing, it's a super huge help for that. Okay. So I'm going to talk now that I've done a lot of the education part and kind of working through those things. I'm going to take a moment to talk a little bit about kind of what we do at On Purpose Media and how we can help. I think that's only fair because I help provide the value. I want to be able to show you guys how I can help you guys out in your 2025. So a couple of things that we offer. Local SEO is one of them. So SEO, search engine optimization, getting you to the page one at Google, right? So we have a bunch of strategic optimization techniques to be able to get your map rankings, your Google Map green. So you're placing 1, 2, or 3 in the Google Map rankings for the impact keywords, things like AC repair, furnace repair, plumbing repairs, plumbers, etc. Now there's going to be also a strategy that goes into the longer form ones, blog posts, etc., that are longer term keywords. So we're going to match the 3% of people that are needing it right now, and then we're going to match with the 17% of people who are information gathering. Okay. In terms of the SEO part of things. Now there's the other parts of the other 20%. And this is where I think AI is going to play a big part of this. I still think that right now that 3% of people are going to hit Google. They're going to search for it. They're going to go AC repair near me, furnace repair near me, plumbing repair near me. And they're going to look at the Google Map rankings. When they're in information gathering, I've actually seen a pivot in myself, even really. Like I would consider myself an early adopter of AI, but I just started pivoting the last couple of weeks to getting more information going forward. In fact, that onpurposemedia.ca/2025 URL, I asked ChatGPT how to do that. I mean, I figured I knew, my team knew, but I was doing it. And I asked ChatGPT, and it was allowing me an easy way to be able to walk through how to do those things. And that's that research part of things that's going to cut down a lot of time and going to there. So making sure that there's a strategy based on AI search results. By the way, we have that. We're working on it. So that helps improve your rankings on the top of search engines. That's what SEO is. That's what we do. Hey, we also offer premium website design and builds, and we target SEO and digital marketing components in there. So obviously, we want to build it with best practices that are involved. All of our websites come out of the box SEO ready and optimized, fully dialed in. By the way, there's no going back and saying, "Oh, your website's out. Now you got to go and through and on-page optimize everything." Nah, it comes out of the box, fully ready to go. SEO ongoing is where those other things, adding content, building in authority for your Google business profile, those sorts of things, but helps bring your vision to life. Okay. It's always responsive and attractive, and it's optimized for Google, and it just helps turn visitors into leads. By the way, ongoing content, adding it, relevant, helpful content is what's going to be the key differentiating factor for a lot of businesses. If you're the type of a business that is doing it on your own and you're going to AI and you're typing in, write me an article on how much it costs to replace an air conditioner, and you're copying and you're pasting that and putting it on your website, it's actually going to hurt your rankings. Hey, you're going to want to make sure that it is fully humanized for it. I'm not going to hide behind the fact that we use AI and AI heavily in our business, but we always human review every single thing that goes out on our clients' websites and our SEO. Why? Because AI still makes silly mistakes. In fact, we saw one the other day where it was talking about indoor air quality and having the UV light, the UV filters, indoor air quality, having better indoor air quality helps with erectile dysfunction, and it had a link to WebMD about erectile dysfunction. I kid you not, I cannot make this up. That legitimately happened, and we're like, what the heck? So if you didn't read it, now you'd be telling people that, hey, indoor air quality helps with erectile dysfunction. So you got to be careful still with what AI puts out there. So just a caveat on that. So the last thing is PPC ads and Google ads, and helps grow your business by generating new clients. And as you saw from the marketing analysis and what we did there, I mean, I focused heavily on the SEO and the PPC side of things because that's what we do, right? We do Google ads, we do PPC campaigns, we build in high converting landing pages to get you the clients that matter. Okay. Effective targeted paid online advertising. By the way, we're also partnered with a company called ProfitFill. ProfitFill, phenomenal organization, phenomenal service that allows the use of AI to read your schedule and adjusting ad spend up and down automatically, so you're not wasting money on calls that you can't get to. Here's an example. If you're in the middle of summertime and somebody calls for an AC repair, or in the middle of winter for furnace repair, whatever, right? Leaking toilet, their drains are clogged, you can't get to them for a couple days, they're going somewhere else. But you just spent money on that person. You spent a click. And in some markets, in the dead of busy season, that could be $50 for a click. I mean, shit, it could be more, it could be less. $50 for a click. And if you 3 of those people end up is what it takes to make a call, you just wasted $150. Wouldn't it be nice to just be able to automatically downgrade that budget? Now, a couple caveats: you need to have a certain amount of ad dollars per month. You need to be on Service Titan and adjustable capacity planning. We're working on some other integrations with them for other areas to be able to do it manually inside of somebody like House Call Pro, for example. But if you're on Service Titan, get on adjustable capacity planning, reach out. Let's have a conversation with that. By the way, if you're wondering where to reach out, book a discovery call. onpurposemedia.ca/book is how you can get that information here with us. If you want to have a conversation about your marketing at any point in time, reach out to that. And if you just want a second opinion, I'm going to drop an alternate link here for you. If you want a second opinion, hit us up at onpurposemedia.ca/second. That's directly on my calendar, by the way. The book calendar could be any one of our team members as well. But if you want to have that conversation about a second opinion to make sure your marketing is on track or off track, hit us up. We're here to help as much as we possibly can. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's webinar. I can't wait to be part in championing in your corner for your success in 2025. And if there's anything that I can do to help, please do text me, 719-824-1377. Take care. If you like what you heard today, you can hit us up and get a marketing analysis done on your business to know if you're on pace or if you're off pace. Head on to the link that's on your screen, onpurposemedia.ca/marketing-analysis. Book a time with us, and we'll go over and give you all of the details. No obligations, by the way, on whether your marketing is on point or whether it's not. Of course, we also want to see you on our socials. We got our Facebook, we got our Instagram, we got our Threads, we got our TikTok. give us a follow.